up here and talk history, I think, for the rest of the night, never run out of stories. So could a lot of folks about these two programs, both of them looking to etch their names in a history book, and Hendricken can do that tonight.
Very definitely. You know, both teams played an excellent game last night. Both goaltenders were on spot. The key in that game last night for me was the wearing down of the Mount St. Charles defense due to penalties by the Mounties and an aggressive forecheck by Hendricken. Mount St. Charles must stay out of the penalty box. Hendricken must continue to be aggressive in their forecheck.
Last night, Mount held a 2-1 lead late, and then 3 strikes from Hendricken in the final 4 minutes turned what was a 2-1 Mount lead into a 5-2 Hendricken victory in game 1, and we are underway. Hendricken wearing the greens and golds, Mount the whites with white numerals, red trim. And we are underway. The puck spirals off of a player on the Mountie bench. Starting goaltenders, we'll mention them for you. Brian Lawrence for Mount St. Charles, one of the co-captains of the Mounties. And for Bishop Hendricken, Matt Keneally, the junior. And there's Matt Keneally right there. Both goaltenders last night made some terrific saves, in particular Keneally in the second period last night.
Keneally really kept Hendricken in the game when Hendricken really was being outplayed by Mount St. Charles.
Shot in from the point by Phaneuf, who had a lot of minutes last night. Here's Andrew Farah ahead for Armstrong, and a nice takeaway by Matt Squazzaro. Clears the zone and kicks out to Tucker Alberigo. Back down, Squazzaro for Phaneuf. Comes back across, was looking for Dabrowska, intercepted, and Alberigo back ahead. Armstrong had a pair late, including the dagger, the empty netter, as well as a tricky little goal that skipped in past Lawrence. The drop pass trailer, shot blocked off the stick of Keith Valentine. Again, last night, Mount St. Charles really rolled out 2 lines predominantly, spotted this third line, which we're already seeing in the first minute.
Yeah, I think Bill Belisle realized, and Dave Belisle realized they've got to get a third line in there to take the play a little bit away from that first and second line.
A nice play up ice. Here come the Hawks. Shot in. Lawrence, big kick save. And we may get goaltender interference. Both referees with the arms up. If it's not goaltender interference, it's defensive interference, because the Hawk would not have crashed Lawrence without some help.
Yeah, I think let's see what he's calling this now. He's calling on the Hendricken player, I believe. Let's see what happens.
Well, charging down the slot was Keel Fuller.
Yep.
And he's heading to the bench, and they are going to call the Mounties.
Interference.
Yep. Justin Trindad's going to sit for 2 minutes. And, your keys to the game, Ken, I think you would talk an awful lot about, they don't know who the penalty's on. I thought it was against Trindad. But at any rate, special teams are awfully crucial.
Yeah, they're not sure who the penalty is here. The 23 went in the box.
Yeah, he started in and then left, and now they're waiting on...
And the referees are going to have to discuss this, because who was the call on?
Our referees tonight, Keith Lopes, Bruce Gwindon, and the linesman is Bob Ward, and it is, there's a look. It was, in fact...
on the replay, you can clearly see what he did is he took the player out who was crashing the net without the puck, and that's definitely interference. Cannot play somebody who hasn't touched the puck.
So the first power play of the game belongs to the Hawks. Nice setup in front. They had Brandon Waterman cutting off that far side wing, and it's set now for Shalvey up top. The drive.
Oh, great save.
And the puck is loose there. You can see it. The referee had already blown the play dead, but what a drive from the point by Chris Shalvey.
Yeah, I think there was a little misdirection on that puck, because I think that Lawrence thought that puck was going to be low, and it kind of came up on his chest real quick. Probably a misdirection, maybe off a skate or a blade.
Puck will be dropped to Lawrence's left. The Mounties defending goal to our left, and the all-important face-off won by the Hawks. Near side, Alberigo shot in front. Lawrence down, puck loose, and again we'll have a whistle as big hit by Phaneuf on Patrick Kramer, who was trying to crash in for that rebound.
Yeah, again, what Mount St. Charles has to be aware of is a lot of physical play in front of the net. Last night I thought that Lawrence did a good job of not giving up second and third chances, as did the Mount defense, and I think Hendricken has to capitalize on those second and third chances in order to score here.
Face-off one back. Phaneuf turns, gets pinched to the boards. That was Alberigo, and Kramer comes up with it. Works off the dasher, watched by Phaneuf, turned to the corner, coughs it up. Alberigo on the puck for the Hawks. 45 seconds gone on the power play, loose in front, and Lawrence will quickly cover. But, we talked last night, Ken, I think the first minute and a half, well, you can even say the first 10 minutes of last night's game were very even, back and forth, back and forth. This power play has really allowed Hendricken to enforce its style of play early.
No doubt about it. And again, it's that wearing down factor on the defense of Mount St. Charles that I'm concerned about. There's a penalty
that's going to be another penalty.
Yeah,
not a bad penalty for Bryce Dolan to take, because were he not to take that penalty, Justin DeBrusca may have been off to the races, and we will skate 4-on-4 for the next 67 seconds.
Well, again, Mount St. Charles player made a good play to get it out of the zone, and the Hendricken player had no option there. 4-on-4 here.
A lot of open ice. Bédot on the face-off, and it's won by the Hawks. Right to left comes Fuller. Coughed up by Crudell, who had a goal in game one, a nifty goal at that. Keneally stalls the puck for Shalvey.
There's that good forecheck by Mount St. Charles.
One of their hallmarks over how many decades now? 5, 6? Shot by Phaneuf, and a nice job by Keneally to track it down out of traffic.
As we said last night, it's really a joy to watch Squazzaro and Vayner play defense. And all of the offense from Mount St. Charles really generates from them. And you'll see them get that puck back to the point. They put the shot on the net every time, and hopefully something good to happen.
About 42 seconds left on this 4-on-4, after which we'll see about a 50-odd second power play for the Mounties. Phaneuf drops it in. It'll be chased back Shalvey. He's chased by Bédot. And off the far side, Bédot to the point. The drive by Crudell off a shin guard. I think it was Dumond. He'll come up with the puck, and he'll work out of his own zone. Nice pinch there by Crudell. And covered again, Shalvey ahead for Andrew Farah. He connects out across center. It'll be worked up ice by Riley Miller on the wing. Turns on Squazzaro and to the corner. Tries to lift a stick, got bumped there in the corner by DeBrusca. Puck comes to Phaneuf. He'll try it set for Squazzaro. And the Mounties are going on the power play. Great forecheck, speaking of, there by Miller. And it's out ahead. A nice look, and just tracked down by DeBrusca, who, as you said, just did stay onside, Ken.
Yeah, he made a nice play of just kind of slowing down for a split second, allowed that puck to get ahead of him.
Well, 40 seconds left on this power play for the Mounties. Trying to grind it out in the corner. Now Holmes drop past DeBrusca. Looks along the on the point for Casilli, and Casilli's shot blocked. It kicks out. It'll be set back in by Phaneuf. Pass Keneally off to the far side. No one there. And I think we're going to get a delayed offsides against Mount St. Charles, as Holmes never truly cleared the zone, and we'll have a whistle with 20 seconds left on the Dolan penalty.
Mount made a change there. There was a little confusion as to who would be in and who would be out. Luckily didn't get too many men on the ice. Again, they got 20 seconds left. They got to get this puck in the zone and set up.
DeBrusca on the faceoff, kicks it to Crudell. He'll dump it in. Not going to be able to set too much up. We'll see what Squazzaro does. Fires one wide, and it'll be covered by the Hawks. They'll just ice it away. The puck will hop down to Lawrence. Man coming up high is Kramer. Good job by the Hawks there, and that'll give them a face-off in the offensive zone with just 2 seconds left on the penalty.
That was a good penalty. Actually, the penalty kill by both teams there was excellent. Mount St. Charles' penalty kill did a good job, and then, of course, Hendricken's penalty kill did a good job, too. Again, I worry about the fact that Mount St. Charles had to use those players over and over again, both on the power play and the penalty kill, which is tiring.
It's the second game of a best-of-3, but there's a day off in between. Were there to be a game 3, we'll be back here on St. Patrick's Day. Crudell, tough angle shot, stick save, hops up over Keneally. Tough angle there by Crudell, but again, you saw those hands, which were so helpful for him in his scoring effort in game number 1, which at the time was a go-ahead goal, and it'll be dumped in, chased by the Mounties. Henry Alianello seeing Jacob Glad, and it'll be iced. Yep. That'll allow the Hawks a change, however, about 5 minutes into the first period.
And again, the rhythm of the game was kind of set right away by that power play by Hendricken, and then Mount got a little bit of rhythm with their little bit of a mini power play. And I think both teams are going to settle in here now. And again, I think Mount St. Charles has got a little bit better speed on the outside sometimes, and I think they're going to take advantage of that when they get into the box defense.
For these seniors, it is the third time in 4 years that the championship round faces Mount against Hendricken. Puck on the wing, Daniel Allen to the point. Allen well read there by Miller. And here come the Hawks. They have numbers with Mitchell on the wing. Nice stand-up by Tim Casilli. Mitchell behind the goal. One-timer saved by Lawrence. Loose in the slot. Backhander. Lawrence flops down. Didn't come up with the puck. A man goes down. That was Allen for the Mounties. Casilli wisely ices the puck.
That's a good example of that second and third chance. It was a rebound, a real juicy rebound out in front. And the Hendricken player bounced on it. Lawrence made a second save, and there was actually a third opportunity, but a Mountie kind of dove across and knocked the puck out of that Hendricken player's lap. You know, one thing about Lawrence, he did a good job of controlling rebounds, but there were a few juicy ones last night that Hendricken did not take advantage of.
Face off to Lawrence's left. One back by Mount St. Charles, and the puck will roll around to the near wing, and it'll be kicked back. Holmes knocked down by Jonathan Finelli. Puck turned back in by the Hawks. Squazzaro. Game already a little bit more physical than we saw a night ago, particularly in the first period. As Crudell leads the attack in front. Holmes turns a shot, almost played it off the skate of Dumond, who was in that low slot. Puck hops past Phaneuf. Shot, Lawrence the save. A nice turn by Josh Olson, trying to make something out of nothing. And I tell you, the strategy seems to be throw it at the net and see what happens, Ken. Not a bad idea.
No, it's always, hey, if you don't shoot it at the net, you don't score.
That should be icing. Last night we saw a couple of goals that you would almost classify as kind of fluky because of just that very fact.
Well, the thing is, you know, if the more shots you throw on the goaltend, the more opportunities you have. Obviously, on that initial shot, it's that second and third shot. As we alluded to last night, the dashes here are so lively. That puck's coming out. If you're not Johnny on the spot, that puck could be back out in front on a shot, and before the goaltender even realizes it. Neither of these teams play here, so this is a new environment for them.
Turn, backhanded in front, shot, and Lawrence again pounces on the puck. You know, if you're the Belial, I think there is a part of the Mount coaching staff that may be a little bit, for lack of a better word, tense that their goalie is this involved in the first 6.5 minutes. And then there's the other part of you that says, hey, why not? You establish a rhythm, right?
Well, not only that, you want your goaltender to feel good about himself, but Mr. Lawrence should feel good right now because he's made some great saves right off the bat. Similar to last night.
I think saw the look here by Crudell as one defender to beat, shoulders it off, shot saved on the other end by Keneally, who did a good job holding the angle, and a nice job defensively by the Mounties by the Hawks in the transition. Most importantly, no penalty there.
Yeah, it was a very good play. He gave the goaltender the opportunity to take away whatever little shot there was. Didn't get it up in the air because he was being leaned on by the Hendricken defender.
Tedford on the face-off for Phaneuf, shot through traffic, and I think may have caught Keneally by surprise, but he went down to the butterfly and squeezed the wicket shut before that shot could be any more damaging than it was.
And Phaneuf just get that simple little wrist shot on the net. Just a nothing shot, just gets it on the net every time. That's the key.
What a pace to this one so far, but we are scoreless. 8 minutes and about a little under 8:20 left here in the first period. Puck rolls to the near side, taken by Brandon Mitchell. Dumped out, Squazzaro. It'll be set back in by Valentine. Cleared out, and I think another delayed offside called on Mount St. Charles. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast the tradition. Well, 19th time these teams have met with the state title on the line since the turn of the century. Since 2006, this is the 7th meeting, and I guess you could say the rubber match in the best of 7. Hendricken beating Mount in 06 and 07. Mount beating Hendricken in 08 and 09, and they split 11 and 12. Oh, that was a nice hit.
Big hit.
You heard it all the way up here, and here comes Holmes. Holmes out across, gets between a couple of defenders, poked by Shalvey. Holmes, pitch to the boards, gets it up top, backhanded down low. That'll be a penalty. Good call, Ken. Puck loose, and before the extra attacker could get on, it'll be a penalty and interference called for the second time today. This time it'll go against Chris Shalvey.
Mount St. Charles' speed is really a factor in this game. Hendricken's having trouble dealing with some of those forwards coming in. As a result, there's a penalty. And that quickness of Mount, the quickness in their skates is quite obvious right here.
Second power play for the first time Mount starts one with a full 2 minutes with which to work. To the point. Phaneuf and now Squazzaro. A power play goal a night ago for the Mounties. That one was scored. Squazzaro for Dabrowska on the brilliant tip from the slot.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Hendricken plays this. Last night they played a kind of an in-tight situation and left the defense open, which is what they're doing right now.
Phaneuf, left point, far wing. Dabrowska looked to take a shot. Holmes knocked it down. Could be a hand pass, and it will in fact be a hand pass, much to the chagrin, I think, of Jonathan Finelli. He would have been off to the races, but in fact, one of the Mounties did touch that puck first. It's the right call.
Yeah, very definitely. Referee had a clear view. It'll be all the way down because Mount's on the power play. You know, again, Mount St. Charles, they can capitalize on that speed, cause Hendricken to get a few penalties and give Mount that power play and play right into the advantage of Mount St. Charles.
Here's Squazzaro. He'll lead the Mountie attack inside 7 minutes to play. First period, power play. Squazzaro spun down, not the puck in. Crudell off. Holmes behind the goal. Looks to the point for Squazzaro. Has Phaneuf left side. Phaneuf thought about the wrist shot back up top. Squazzaro with room. Takes a shot, knocked down, loose in front. Keneally down as well. Puck is still free and cleared just over the stick of Squazzaro. A heady play by Tucker Alberigo.
This pass by the goalie.
Nice look by Lawrence. The drop pass, that's Dabrowska for Phaneuf. He'll turn it back. Dabrowska left side through the circle. Shot! Score! Dabrowska through Keneally, and the Mounties strike first.
I'll tell you what, just a great little pass from the point. Great job by Phaneuf to pass that puck, a little backhanded type pass, and it's just a great setup. And again, the power play looked really good there, and a great play to initiate that by the goaltender, Brian Lawrence. Put that deep wing. That was a great play by the goaltender.
Hit a great sight line up that wing. Did Lawrence to get that whole sequence started. And you see there's that look ahead. And yeah, that was a terrific sequence. We get another look.
Look at that nice little pass there. Just beautiful.
Maybe one that Keneally wants back, but at any rate, Mounties. How important, Ken, you've been in this situation, the first goal, particularly after the way yesterday ended?
Definitely big factor. Big factor for Mount St. Charles. Hendricken came out here, obviously, you hear the crowd yelling one more win, and Mount St. Charles, obviously, they're not going to just let that happen that easy.
Yesterday, 40 seconds after the Mount struck first, the Hawks were able to tie it up. And in the minutes after that, we saw Mount St. Charles make a few uncharacteristic mental mistakes, Ken. The number of icings in bad spots. Another big hit finished by Creamer on the wing as the Mounties change up. We're inside 5.5 to play here. First period from Meehan Auditorium here on the east side of Providence. Dabrowska fires one, looks back to the point, tripped up Crudell. Tried to get over there, did Casilli. Creamer dumps him down, but the puck sent back in by the Mount. Touched up Keneally for Dolan.
It's obvious that Hendricken is much more physical than Mount, but Mount is much faster than Hendricken. So it's a trade-off.
Armstrong and Dabrowska in a battle of 12s. Puck rolls. Phaneuf fans. Armstrong the dish and the takedown by Phaneuf. And the net's off the moorings. And not a bad penalty to take.
That was great.
Actually, I'm going to say it's a great penalty to take.
That was a great penalty. I mean, it was an aggressive penalty. He was in alone on that swift little move. And, just a really good play. That nice play by Lawrence to go over and find out if the player was okay on the ice. Very good sportsmanship on the part of Lawrence.
Well, these two teams are all too familiar with one another. A lot of mutual respect. And you see Armstrong snuck behind Phaneuf. And
yeah, he gave him a good, I think he's going to call him a slashing. The initial slash on the hands, and then he kind of cleaned him out after that.
Well, the power play for the Hawks will go to work as a puck whistles up and over Lawrence and is cleared down. And Ken, the importance of having Phaneuf in the box for this kill, let's not understate it. Last night when we saw Squazzaro go to the box, it meant Crudell saw some time on the point, and in fact that's what we're seeing here right now. In on Lawrence, puck scored! Lawrence overplayed it, and a tip around and scored by Chris Shelby, the number 20, and we're tied at 1.
Yeah, that was just a funny little bounce, and you look at the play, but hopefully we'll see that on replay. The puck took a funny little bounce, and it just got on his stick, and he made a great play on Lawrence, who had overplayed the puck, and just put it in on the backside. Well, that's, again, stay out of the box.
It was Shalvey, got around Crudell, the converted defenseman, and Lawrence whiffed.
Yeah, Lawrence just missed it. I mean, I think Lawrence made the right play. He just missed it.
Lawrence, we've seen, is not afraid, Ken, to come out. He's not afraid to get out toward the hash marks north of the crease. And we're tied at 1. Phaneuf to the near wing, turns, fired, shot, Keneally the save. On the puck, Dolan, near wing again for Phaneuf. Turns back, lost the handle, and Josh Olsen clears the zone, and it should be icing, and it will be. The Hendrickens almost playing a little bit of a flyer system, trying to wear down these D-men.
Well, I think the other thing that's happening is the middle of the ice is open. And I think there's a little bit too much spacing between the defensemen. And in that case, Phaneuf was caught up the ice. They're just throwing it up the middle and hoping they can catch, like you say, a flyer. And almost did it in that play right there.
So we are tied at 1 in a game that has no shortage of energy, particularly in this early goings of the first period. Squazzaro, Dolan, and now Alberigo through neutral ice. Dumps it in. Hawks changing. Lawrence watches. Squazzaro back.
It's eerily similar to last night.
Very. It's like deja vu all over again. Here comes Holmes. Hops through. Shot. Save made. It was knocked down in front. Dolan on the rebound.
Good play by Holmes there.
Back the other way. Numbers for the Hawks. Shot. Blocker save Lawrence. Coming around the bend. And was Eric Edwards. It's cleared out.
Wave that off.
Yeah, they will wave off the icing. Dolan back for the green and gold wearing Bishop Hendricken Hawks. Out across center, Edwards the junior. Tried to drop it in, hit a stick, and bounces past Brandon Mitchell. Took a shove from Keith Valentine, and back is Tim Casilli, for the Mounties. We're inside 3 to play. Played up by Jacob Glad. Valentine takes a big hit from Dumont. To the point. Phaneuf, little wrister, knocked down hash marks, turned Valentine, couldn't keep a handle to it. And here's Armstrong.
Offside.
Ahead for Farah. Farah the shot up and over Lawrence.
Much the same way as last night, he tried to pick top corner.
Shot in, knocked down, and redirected by Kramer.
Kramer was kind of hanging back there. They kind of lost track of him.
Puck's going to spin all the way down to Keneally. He'll push it ahead for Dumont. As we tick down to the 2-minute warning here in the period. Mounties changing. Out ahead, Holmes from Nebraska, but back is Hendricken.
Much like last night, this is just a great skating game. 2 good skating teams.
The ice is in pretty good shape despite, sometimes you see those temperatures spike to 50, 55 degrees as they did today. No effect here today, that's for sure.
This ice is good hard last night. It's good hard today, too.
Puck is sent in by the Hawks, who finished the change.
Bad pass.
Yeah, Squazzaro lost sight of Phaneuf, and that puck's in the netting. Fortunately for Mount, it'll allow them to reset things here. With a minute and a half or so left here in the first, they're the Mountie faithful who saw their spirits dashed a night ago, and tonight very similar. Within mere 2 minutes of their first goal, they allowed the Hawks to answer.
Yeah, very definitely. It was almost a very similar script.
Crudell ahead for Holmes. He'll dump it in. Mounties changing. Keneally back. And leaves it out to the wing. Does Keel Fuller. Lost the puck. Centering pass just missed Daniel Allen. And the Hawks will skate. Turned over. Phaneuf. Bouncing puck. Neutral ice. Mitchell and now Miller left side. Drop for Fuller. Got around one man, but Phaneuf takes a shove.
Dangerous point of the game right here.
Puck up top, the drive, scored! You mentioned a dangerous point. I don't know that Lawrence ever saw it. And the drive from Alberigo from the point gives Hendricken the lead.
Yeah, just a lazy clear by Mount St. Charles. And you can see the puck wasn't going to get up the board, but the defender just grabbed it, fired away. Lawrence never saw it. Dangerous last minute of a period. Dangerous time to make a mistake in your own end. Just a clean shot. Looks like it changed direction. Looks like Lawrence is playing it to his left and went back to his right.
Well, I would say first 4 or 5 minutes definitely belonged to Brian Lawrence. But since then, Hendricken has found a solution. They've given their goaltender a lead as the puck spirals down. Hendricken scored in bunches a night ago. If they can get another one early, late here in the first, they could really take the proverbial wind out of the Mountie sails. Conversely, here comes Nebraska. They tried that drop pass, Crudell in, and Keneally will pounce out to his left and stop play.
The puck looks like a Super Bowl. I mean, it's bouncing on end. Every single pass by both teams, the puck is on end. And I attribute that sometimes to the fact that the puck has not been chilled down enough. It's a little bit warm. But both teams are having trouble handling the puck.
They left it in someone's trunk today instead of in the cooler on the Diet Cokes, as they say.
Yeah.
22 ticks or so left here in the period. Squazzero spirals one wide. Back as Alberigo has the go-ahead goal in this one. Again, they don't make ice between the first and second period, so a quick break at the end of one. Puck dropped down, covered by Squazzero, and that'll take us out of period number one. So 50 minutes in the books here at Meehan Auditorium. The Mounties find themselves down by a goal. With that, we will take a quick timeout. Period 2 when we return to the east side of Providence. Right after this, it's here on Cox Sports. And welcome back to Browns Meehan Auditorium Championship Weekend. Bishop Hendricken leading Mount 2-1 in this game 2 of this best of 3 series. He's Ken Howell, I'm Mike Rubin. We got to 2-1. This is how it happened.
Well, again, the game started out as it did last night. Good even play by both teams. This goal right here, though, is just a pretty little setup right here.
You watch the puck from the point.
Watch this nice behind-back pass there, and he just puts it right through the 5-hole.
A nice look there by Nebraska, his second goal of the series, but that goal came, Ken, at 8:39, within 2 minutes.
And you felt that was a good goal by Mount St. Charles, as you said you alluded to last night, but then this little thing happens right here with the goaltender. Just kind of made an awkward play on the puck, and the offensive player for Hendricken just made a nice play, staying with the pass, staying with the puck.
Well, Hendricken rejoiced. That was Shalvey. And then the drive by Alberigo. And, you know, there might have been a redirection in front. It's hard to see. It was definitely Alberigo's drive. Let's see if we could catch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. That was deflected by that man right in the slide. I can't see his number here, but I think that was deflected. That's why I think Lawrence thought it was going to his left, and it got deflected back to his right.
Couldn't tell if that was 14 Olsen or 12 Armstrong. But we'll see if we can get another look at it. And until we do, it's 2-1 Hendricken. Either way, whoever scored it.
Let's see if we can see this right here. Watch the shot. Watch the player in front there. Watch him just touch it.
I think it's Olsen.
Yeah, I think he did. I think they're going to give the goal to Alberigo, but I think Olsen did touch that. That's what Lawrence looked like was going more to his left and shot back to his right.
2-1 Hendricken as we start period number 2.
You know, as I alluded to before, you know, Hendricken has to take advantage of all of those little chips in front. Lawrence is so good that you're going to get him on stuff that's misdirected and chipped. And that's how you're going to beat him. He's not going to give up that first shot, but that second and third shot, that misdirection is going to be a case.
Well, and you got to worry, I think, if you're Mount St. Charles, about Lawrence overplaying it a little bit. Both of those goals, you saw him well north of the crease, and that, again, that's a style some goaltenders play. It's high risk, high reward for sure.
Yeah, you know, you got to go with what got you here, so you're not going to change
your
style.
That's for sure. Well, if you're Mount St. Charles, you're Bishop Hendricken, you've got a formula that's certainly worked over the years. I don't think they're changing it regardless.
No.
Could be, I think will be waved off as it was touched there by Trindad. Again, this is the second game. First game won by Hendricken 5-2. Tape to tape comes Valentine. Missed the hit there, did.
Right there in front.
Puck loose in front of Keneally and tipped, I think it was Jacob Glod. And back the other way. Shalvey hops over one of the... It will be.
You know, that earlier play, the Hendricken defender took the man out, but by taking that the 3-on-2, by taking the man out, he created a 2-on-1. Sometimes it's best to just not play the man. You're outnumbered at 3-on-2. Don't make it a 2-on-1, because when a 2-on-1 is even easier to score than a 3-on-2 sometimes.
Faceoff will come to the near wing of Keneally with Hendricken defending. Goal to our left. Just before the
that puck though,
it's topping.
It's unbelievable.
A little extra rubber in it today, I guess. That looked like it cleared the zone.
I do too, yeah. Good call by the official.
Yeah, it looked like there was just a little bit of white on the left side of that blue line by our linesman Bob Ward.
We saw a couple last night that were close and, you know, almost too close to call. Not an easy job being an official at any level.
Spoken like the converted referee that you are, right? That's called empathy, folks. Big hit on the near side. Holmes went down. Crudell looking to the point. Turned by Holmes. Crudell tried to get his way around Dolan. Works to the corner. Plays it behind the goal. Dabrowska has Crudell near side corner. Turned over. Dolan up the wing. Tried to feed Fuller. Fuller clears the zone. Nice play by Casilli, but couldn't stop the puck. Miller takes a shot. Lawrence with the stop.
Pretty routine stop there. You know, again, you know, the forecheck by Mount St. Charles has kind of eased up a little bit. They're not doing as good of a job, I think, in their forecheck, and therefore their cycling effort is not as good. And I think they need to be a little bit more desperate right here. I know it's early in the game. It's only early in the second period, but I think they need to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more desperate.
12 and a half or so left here in period number 2. Puck batted down ice. Dumond should be offsides.
It is.
It is. Doesn't matter. Hendricken has the puck, and the puck is behind the Mount bench. We'll have another stoppage. Hasn't been a lot of flow to the first couple of 3 minutes of this second period. A lot of stoppages and icing here, a deflection there.
Yeah, as the ice starts to get a little chewed up, sometimes it's difficult. You know, sometimes it's best not to stick it on the puck. A little bit of snow on the ice, and again, as I said, that puck is bouncing around like crazy. A little joshing over here. Referee's going to step in between that. And they've got a line there they're supposed to be on. They're supposed to be outside the circle on that line. They don't always adhere to that, but the referees attempt to keep that fair from both sides.
Casilli into the corner. Watched there by Finelli. Shot wide by Watkinson. Watkinson on the puck, far side. Stick over the shoulder, waved off. And played up ice by Badeau. Turned over, and the Hawks come back left to right. Watkinson sets it in. Keneally stalls the puck. Leaves it back for Trindad. Trindad up the wing, and it should be icing again, and we'll have another stoppage. 11:32 or so left here in period number 2. 2-1 game.
As good as the first period was, this first part of the second period has not been good for either team. It's almost like they're very tentative now, both teams, to make a mistake. Both teams have lost their aggressiveness.
Face off to the right of senior goaltender Brian Lawrence. Shot off the draw. Farah got a nice bit of wood on that puck, but Lawrence was able to hold the puck away. Crudell, stick handles, back Squazzaro. Aggressive is this forecheck here by the Hawks, and another puck behind the bench. Let's reset things then, shall we, with the score 2-1. Goals in that first period. First by Dabrowska from Phaneuf on the power play, about 8.5 minutes in, and then just 2 minutes later, Shalvey for Hendricken, then Olsen, we presume, Alberigo with the drive from the point. That much we're certain of, and that's how we got to 2-1. Pace of this second period, though, slightly more pedestrian. Here comes Holmes. Crudell left side. Through traffic. Puck hits a skate. Shot. What a save by Keneally. Flashed out to the left.
Mark that on your calendar. That was a biggie.
Was able to move laterally right to left and stone Nebraska, who has been a sure thing for the Mounties.
Yeah, that was a great scoring opportunity. Great play by Keneally. That's just a great save. You know, I think he anticipated that little extra pass coming across, and in doing so, just Johnny on the spot. Nebraska couldn't get that puck up in the air. Had he got a little bit of lift on it, he might have beaten him. So both these goalies do a good job of covering down low with their pads. They cover a lot of that low ice. Don't give up much of the 5-hole using their sticks and their pads.
I could see a little bit more pep in Keneally's step there as he was getting set for that face-off. As that puck comes down off the glove, they will blow it dead. And this is a special building for Matt Keneally. His father Bob played here at Brown back in the late 80s, early 90s for then now the current coach at Dartmouth, but then head coach Bob Gaudette.
Well, you know, hockey's in his blood, obviously. We saw a lot of this last night too. They're just really being strict on the face-off situation.
Sometimes you wonder if they just dropped the puck, if that would just take care of all of those problems.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they get a little too caught up in what the rule is, and you know.
Near side boards. Casilli spun it forward. Dolan will chase back. Just a first year is Dolan. Cycles back behind his goal. Comes back near side and pushed ahead. Fuller heard the hit, much to the delight of the Hendricken faithful. And there's a decleater, they call that one, as Miller upends Casilli. Knocked him clear out of his laces.
Yeah, the physical play just picked up a little bit by Hendricken here. Just a good forecheck by Hendricken. But Mounties, you know, they're determined. They'll get that puck out. They work hard.
Nebraska tries to get around Alberigo, got shoved, kept his balance, tried to work back toward the slot, and pushed back by the Hawks. The puck rolls Ryan King around to the near wing boards. Sent by Squizzero in deep, but knocked out by the Hawks. Past Trudell, Dolan will retreat.
Keneally thought that was an icing, but he was well inside the red line.
Tried to buy it. Here comes Waterman with King and now Creamer on the ice for Hendricken.
Oof.
Could have been a big hit.
Possible 3-on-2 here.
Holmes, the drive blocked by Dumond and quickly cleared back out to neutral ice. Squizzero up the wing, and the Mounties changing, so they're off sides. The long change in the second period here for both sides, it sometimes becomes an issue.
You know, they put him over out the door, and the door puts him in the offensive zone, and if the puck's going in, you're caught every time.
It does bring the face-off to the Mount side of neutral ice. Farah, the senior captain, co-captain of the Hawks, wins the face-off back. Squizzero to the wing. Spins one down the near side boards. Tracked back Shalvey, who has a goal in this one. Now it's over for Bédot. Tried to look out to the point, and it's knocked down. Neutral ice, right side under the stick of Bédot. Another nice play by Shalvey. Ahead for Farah.
Backside 10 here.
Yeah, they have Creamer, and now Armstrong up and over the top of Lawrence. And they got Lawrence to cut out. Farah broken up. And here Tedford. Again, nice back check and good stick work by Farah. Hawks changing. Squizzero back behind Lawrence. 8:20 and counting left here. Period number 2.
Farah is strong. He's a physically strong kid. Oh, boy.
Lively bounce wide of Lawrence, who was sliding to his right. Squizzero tied up. Looks like Finelli. Another shot wide. They are turning this into a shooting gallery, trying to take away the eyes of Lawrence.
Yeah, they're putting the guy right on top of the goaltender. That guy Olsen was right in front screening Lawrence.
And it will be icing. We're inside. 8 minutes left here. Second period. Hendricken 2, Mount St. Charles 1. We'll take a timeout as they reset things here at Meehan. And welcome back, folks. East side of Providence at Brown's Meehan Auditorium alongside Ken Howell.
Face-off so important right here. You've got to win these face-offs if you're Mount St. Charles and you're into the ice.
And it's won by the Hawks to the point. Dolan. It's dumped in. Chased by Trindad. He tries to turn and got the puck to Dabrowska. He'll work right to left. Transition by the Mounties. Here's Holmes on the wing and covered back.
Good back checking right
Yeah,
there.
very nice play by Fuller. Like Holmes favoring an arm as he came back. Either that or he just has some heavy legs. Played a lot of hockey in the last 24 hours. Puck cleared out. Casilli lost the handle. Fuller working up ice. 2-on-1 if they hurry.
Ooh.
Shot through
Backside.
Lawrence. Backside covered.
Wow.
Was Dabrowska by Dabrowska was covering, I should say, Mitchell, and it's set up ice by Holmes. Keneally to stall it as we tick down towards 7 minutes left here in period 2.
Heck of a play by Nebraska right there.
Again, a transition for Waterman, turned by Squazzaro. Sanchioni on the wing, tries to free it ahead, was looking for Jacob Glad. Glad, Sanchioni, and Daniel Allen as the Belial coaching staff of Mount St. Charles tries to mix and match some lines here to try and generate the all-important next one.
Well, I think they're trying to get some players in there, not necessarily a whole third line, but put second and first liners out there with some of those third liners and buy a minute here or a minute 2 for each player on our line.
Turned by Sanchioni, but covered on the wing by Ryan King, and Hendricken's wearing it down. They are really rolling out. They're going 1-2, 1-2, 3, 1-2, 1-2, 4. They are certainly, for those of you who are wondering, they're working all 4 lines in, Ken.
Yeah, very definitely. They've got a good rhythm going here with their line shifts.
And I'm not sure it's that obvious or that specific, but it certainly looks that. With 6:05 left here in the second, Hendricken leading 2-1, and they're called for the offside. And tell you, very quick break for Holmes, Crudell, and Dabrowska.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it. I've definitely seen a little slowdown by the Mount St. Charles players, and Hendricken players picking their sticks up and taking the puck away from the Mounties, which shows a little bit of weakness and of course being tired.
This is where fatigue versus, I guess you'd have to say, a little bit of intestinal fortitude may come into play. The guts factor, as they say. Neither of these sides seems to have a shortage of it. Dabrowska can't clear the zone, and now it squirts free. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Dabrowska, right side, keeps it himself. Shot off the blocker of Keneally, who just held his line. Holmes, now Farah turns it away for Armstrong. Dabrowska never had a great angle, Ken.
No, the defender did a good job of just kind of driving him to the outside and allowing Keneally to take away what little was left of the net. One thing that Mount St. Charles does really well is drives to the net normally, but the Hendricken defender...
Oh, my. Lawrence came way out, played that puck right to Josh Olson, who made a bid for the goal with Lawrence still out in no man's land.
He's living on the edge on that one. You know, sometimes your goaltender starts to feel the desperation of your team and tries to do things that he really shouldn't do. He's a goaltender. He's not really a forward. He's not equipped to be a forward. And he needs to just stay in that net and stop the short ones.
I don't remember seeing too many goaltenders in my time venturing that far out.
Well, it's difficult. Well, they had equipment on it. That was alluded to before the game. It's a real difficult. The skates are different. The equipment's different. You know, and it gets wet and it gets heavy. You know, you just get fatigued if you're doing all of that moving around. Sometimes it's best just to stay right in that blue square there and just mind your business right there.
Not a position I'm capable of playing. Certainly, well, let's put it this way. Not a position I'm capable of playing very well.
We can put you in there, but...
the guy who'd be the most tired guy in the building would be the guy buzzing the red light, that's for sure. He'd have trigger finger. Puck almost tipped in by one of the Mounties and gloved out by Lawrence. He'd have carpal tunnel 5 minutes into the first period.
I love that the Olympic times, Jimmy Fallon in the net there. Well, it wasn't Jimmy Fallon, but at the end it was Jimmy Fallon trying to stop pucks. And it's not an easy job being a goaltender. Toughest position in sports as far as I'm concerned. Oh,
puck played up, and that was a nice reflex save by Lawrence. And our attention has not left the zone to our right, that defensive third for Mount St. Charles in some time. Right side, here comes Dabrowska, stripped by Miller. Set back in, that was Casilli. Fuller near side. We'll work up ice, and I think the Hawks again are off.
Offside, yep.
And we're inside 4 minutes to play here, second period. 2-1 our score. This building celebrated its 50th anniversary a couple years ago.
It's quite a building. Quite a building.
Played host to some great games over the years. Again, we're not going to go into too much of a history lesson, but the collegiate, the high school, the amateur levels, there have been some fantastic teams that have come through this building. One of the Hawks lost a stick, I think it was Creamer, and here come the Mounties. They'll have some room with Glott up the left wing, has Allen as the trailer, goes shoulder to shoulder, big hit by Dolan, and clean. Glott gets right back up, shoved aside Alberigo, and now to the corner for Bovair. Calling his name for the first time. He ends up on his backside. It's cleared out and set ahead. Here's Glott again. Glott on the wing, broken up by Andrew Farah, who muscled him away. Kramer plays the angle, and up the wing he comes. Works on Squizzero, lost the handle, and pushed up ice. Here comes Mount St. Charles. Good back check by Bob Ward. Yeah, or the other referee. It wasn't the linesman. I'm sorry, Mr. Ward. It took the opportunity away from Daniel Allen.
Oh, you hate those. But the referee's doing his best to get out of the way.
You could see him skating back out of the way. Oh, a big hit coming back by Liam Watkinson, who's been, let's say, not shy with the hits through the first game and a half here. Out to neutralize Dumond left side, and the Hawks just keep the pressure on. Got their foot on the throats of the Mounties, that's for sure. Looking for the next one. The drive up and over the top. And I'll tell you, Ken, Mount St. Charles looks tired.
Yeah, they're on life support right now. There's no doubt about it. They are sucking for oxygen, and it's really difficult. I think Bill Belial's going to have to try to get a few of those other kids in, spot them if he can. The big area is obviously on defense, and Fanafit and Squizzaro are going to play a lot of minutes here again tonight.
Well, you got to get to the intermission, and that's still about 2 minutes and change away. Crudell pulls up, forehand shot. Keneally through traffic. Holmes was skating through and running interference, and that is the second stop for Keneally here in the second period that you can certainly mark down in your notebook as a game changer.
Yeah, again, that good flop position. He's got his both legs are down on the ice, knees down, pad spread out, and he just makes a reflexive save. Puck on the ice with the right pad. It's a great save. He's good. He's good, no doubt about it.
Well, and if you're Mount St. Charles, you start wondering a little bit. I mean, the 2 goals that were scored against him last night, there's nothing he could do about. Even the one today was a pretty shot from a tough angle. Right. So you start dealing not only with fatigue, but the incredible shrinking net, because he's not giving you much.
He definitely is not. And Mount St. Charles has had, like you say, they've had some shots, they've had some opportunities.
Well, something has to make a team complete. You need your goaltender to make the routine saves, and most coaches will tell you, and I'm sure you told your team, you don't want your goalie making spectacular saves.
No, you want to make the simple saves. The spectacular saves mean somebody else is not doing their job.
Then there are guys like me who make no saves. So you see, it all comes back to us, Ken, right?
Well, don't you go to the bank occasionally, put some money in? That's called saving.
Yeah, there you go. Not these days. Puck cleared out. It'll be skated out. Holmes, they'll have a chance. They have Bovair on the wing. Centering pass shot! Oh. He whiffed on it. He either whiffed on it or kicked it wide.
Unfortunately, he was on that side with his stick, and that just caused the problem.
Squizzero back with Farah coming. The defender got pinned up, and Holmes had a chance. You mentioned trying to spot a third guy to get these lines some work. It was Bovair coming up the 9th grader, but unable to finish, and the game remains 2-1.
Puck bounce by him.
Saucers up and putting himself offside, and Dumond putting a hurt on another freshman for Mount St. Charles, Daniel Allen. And we'll have a whistle with inside a half-minute left here in the second period.
Yeah, and that play by Mount St. Charles, the wing breaking in on the right side, unfortunately, was a left shot. And the opportunity made it even tougher because of the angle the puck was coming at him.
Right side, here comes Phaneuf. Don't want to take too many chances if you're Mount's defense. Up ice The drive wide of Lawrence, played by Finelli to the corner. Squazzero turns it to Dabrowska. Final seconds ticking away on the period. It comes to the wing, hop back past Trudell, and that'll take us into the second intermission. Hendricken finds itself 15 minutes from destiny, and the Mounties will have to play comeback kids. We'll take a timeout with 2 periods in game 2 in the books. From Meehan Auditorium, the score, Hendricken 2, Mount St. Charles 1. They'll head to the locker rooms, and we'll be back right after this with more of the Cox Sports Championship Weekend here on the Ocean State Network and Cox Sports Television. Well, you're looking in at Browns Bean Auditorium and the Pollard Family Rink. And period number 3 about to get underway between Bishop Hendricken and Mount St. Charles. Alongside Ken Howell, I'm Mike Rubin. Great to have you with us, and let's take a look at how we got here. Way back in period number 1, the outlet from Lawrence to the wing. Nebraska on the wing. Phaneuf the point, a little dipsy-do behind the back pass, and the finish.
Yeah, I'm not sure Lawrence should have got an assist on that play. I don't know. He got the 3rd assist for sure. That was a great play, a great pass by Phaneuf, and just a great shot, beat him into 5-hole.
So that was Nebraska, but here a nice play by Shalvey, feeds himself through, got around, little poke at the end of the stick, tied the game at 1. At that point, that was just under 2 minutes after the first goal scored by Mount St. Charles, and then you had this look from the point and the tip.
Yeah, just a poor clearing effort on the part of Mount St. Charles, and Hendricken took advantage of it, and that was the backbreaker because it came right at the end of that period, and those are the kind of goals that really, really crush you.
Mount St. Charles, Ken, let's call it what it is as we reset it. They needed that intermission. They looked to have some heavy legs at the end of period number 2. And conversely, Hendricken was buzzing. They got some great saves from their goaltender in that second period. The next one, particularly early in this period, has to be Mount, or Hendricken can start celebrating.
Very definitely. You know, Mount St. Charles had that opportunity late in that second period to tie it up at 2-2. I think Mount is just going to let it all hang out right here. Just go for everything they have to go for. Be smart. The defenseman stuff to be smart. But the forwards, I think they've got to get back to that good Mount St. Charles forechecking style. They forecheck and they're aggressive. They have an opportunity.
Ken, you've been on the other side of these huddles as a coach and as a player. You saw David Belisle, a lot to say on that Mount St. Charles bench. On the other side, Hendricken getting behind their players. What is the final thing you want your team to remember about this period for both sides?
That this is it. This is the state championship on the line. Don't leave. Don't go into that locker room at the end of these 15 minutes saying, I should have, I could have, but I didn't.
And I don't think it matters which side you're rooting for. I think that's a pretty fair fact. So here we go. Underway, period number 3. Centering pass. Holmes the shot, and Keneally left from his right to left. Dialed in the stop.
Again, that's another good scoring opportunity. So, I mean, Mount's just going to keep working. Caught Hendricken flat-footed there and got a good shot on net. Face-offs, all important face-offs here.
They're going to kick Farah out for Creamer. We'll see what Nebraska does with it. Wins it to the point. Quick shot wide of Keneally. I don't know if he saw it. And on the wing, Armstrong tries to lead it out. Phaneuf brings it back down. Sent one toward the net. It hopped off a defender, Alberigo, and cleared out. And I think it hit one of the Hawks leaning over. It did.
It did. And, you know, again, pretty quick little opportunities there. 2 great opportunities, a long shot, and then, of course, that shot from the slot. You know, Mount St. Charles, you know, they're going to be patient. They're not going to be crazy about this group. The defender's not going to be crazy for sure. But their forwards have to be a little bit of a risk-taking, especially in the attacking end. Face-offs again. You've got to win those face-offs. You've got to get control.
Puck will be iced away by Shalvey. I think he was trying to connect with Watkinson coming out of the zone and just missed. And we'll have another offensive zone face-off from Mount St. Charles. About a half minute into this third period. There's Brian Lawrence and Hendricken faithful on hand, en masse as well.
Good crowd here for both teams. Hendricken's got a bunch of well-dressed gentlemen here tonight. I guess it's all about business.
Yeah, last night it was costume night. No tricks or treats there. Tonight it is absolutely all business. Most of them are in the business suits. Here comes Holmes ahead for Nebraska. Nebraska turns on Shalvey. Little dip. In front shot. Saved. Keneally got the blocker down as Holmes took it a little wrister.
That's 3 opportunities missed.
Bouncing shot in. And, boy, you got to believe that the Hendricken 5, the quintet in front of Keneally, will be playing with a little bit of zip when their goaltenders make it stops like that. Been the difference in this one, no doubt. Casilli, the shot knocked out of the hash marks. Mount buzzing a little bit here in the early goings. We'll see how far momentum can take them. The puck just off the reach of Allen in the slot. Right point, Trindad near side boards. It's kicked out of the zone. Trindad looks to send it back in, and they let play on continue as Finelli was tripped up and sent in there by Riley Miller of the Hawks. Lawrence leaves the puck, but in a prone spot for Brandon Mitchell of the Hawks, in fact, has it.
Watch in front.
Like it was Fuller free, Ken. You saw him. Olsen the drive. Tip just wide. I don't know if Lawrence saw it.
Never saw that one.
Nebraska across. Here comes Crudell. Little Deke gets through. Takes the shot. I don't think it ever made it in as he was tripped up. Maybe lost an edge. But a terrific individual effort. He's had great hands all weekend.
Boy, I tell you what, that was smooth. He made that smooth play last night. And that's another smooth play right there. Like you say, good hands.
Right side. Squazzaro and now Phaneuf back with Fuller coming hard, and it'll be turned away. No icing. Back is Alberigo for the green and gold wearing Hawks, who skate right to left here in this third period. About 12 and a half to play here in the third. If the Hawks win, they are champs for the fourth time since 2006. And if the Mounties win, we come back and do it all again in one game, winner take all. Armstrong
nice play by the defender right there.
Stepped right up and delivered a clean shot. Daniel Allen for the wing, Phaneuf, and outside. Clears the zone. Shalvey dumps it in.
Because the ice is perfect right now. It's fast. And Mount St. Charles is taking advantage of that.
Up the wing. Left side, Fauvert snaps a shot wide. He might have put himself off sides. He did.
I like Mount's energy right here for the first couple of minutes of this period. I like their energy. Can they keep that energy up until they get that tie and goal? That's the key.
There are the Belials, David and Bill. No strangers to this situation. Certainly not with this rivalry. Bill Belisle behind the bench for all 19 series between Bishop Hendricken and Mount St. Charles. The first one played back in 1981.
Well, Bill Belisle is, when you look in the dictionary in the Rhode Island hockey, his picture's right there with all of the other greats that have ever coached this game in Rhode Island. Tommy Eccleston and Lou Samini and just so many more. And Bill Belisle stands heads and toes up there with all of them. Just a great gentleman and a great hockey mind.
Well, you know how hard it was to win a couple yourself, and it's not an easy task.
Well, the thing is, Mount St. Charles, I think I told you before, you asked me the question, what makes them so good, made them so good? They have a system. They make their players buy into the system. They believe in the system, and they play the system. And that's the legend of the Belials and Mount St. Charles hockey.
And across the ice, Jim Kramer trying to win a fourth championship.
Jim, one point, he was at LaSalle, and then he came over to Hendricken. So he's had opportunities at a couple of schools to do this, and a very, very successful coach. Smart, good hockey mind.
Speaking of players playing a great system, they're doing it here. Puck kicks out to the point. The drive hopped in off of one of the bodies to Phaneuf. Tough pass. Shot in. Just missed by Holmes and Nebraska. Out to Squazzaro. The drive up and off the shoulder of Keneally and tipped into the netting. Another whistle.
Well, I love the way Squazzaro and they just put that puck on the net, and nothing fancy, no big wind-up. You don't see a big slap shot. Just snapping that puck off. That shot in hockey, that other than the backhand, that wrist shot, quick.
Draw to Keneally's right. Kick back. Cameron Tedford was there for the Mounties on the face-off to the point. Knocked down. Hopping puck. Knocked down Shalvey. Loose in front. Kind of rolls out to the point. Fired back in by Keith Valentine. Tedford with Bédot. Tedford on the wing. Played it back behind the goal. There was nobody there. Cycles to the near side dashers. Big hit by Valentine. Knocked Shalvey backwards, but on the puck, Riley Miller for Hendricken. It clears the zone. Backhanded back up by Squazzaro. And Valentine went down. Fell on a stick. Seems a little shaken up. Meanwhile, Phaneuf fires it wide. And Valentine slow to the bench. On the wing, Fuller trying to clear the zone. Holmes steps into it. That's Dumont. Phaneuf could and pinch it in. And it clears out. Squazzaro dumps it back down. Holmes on the forecheck for the Mount. It comes back to the wing. It'll be dumped in by Riley Miller and chased back. Squazzaro And for nothing, a lot of minutes turned over on the clear. Farah the shot, loose. Kramer scores! The turnover turns into gold, and a goal for Hendricken. It's 3-1.
Yeah, just a bad turnover there. I'm not sure which defender it was from Mount St. Charles. They kind of babied the puck. Hendricken jumped all over. That's really the first opportunity Hendricken's had almost 6 minutes into this period. It was all Mount St. Charles.
And Kramer, it was Squazzaro, I think, on the pass. It's Kramer. Yep, yeah, through the legs of Trinidad from Farah. And it's 3-1 Bishop Hendricken.
That's that second chance opportunity we talked about at the beginning of the game. Didn't get him on the first shot, but the second opportunity went in the net.
Holmes pulls back, shot, what a save! Kick it, score! No! They're waving it off! They're waving it off. They're saying it was kicked by Dabrowska, and we're going to get the only replay of it. There is no replay in high school hockey. They made that call immediately, Ken.
I think that's a good call. It looked like his stick was up in the air. We'll take a look at the replay, but I believe he did kick it in. And the referee had perfect positioning on that. He was off to the right side of the goaltender, looking at the left side where the puck was kicked.
Well, we'll watch the initial shot from Holmes. Saved by Keneally. Oh, yeah. Plain as day. Pele'd in.
Yeah.
Tried to buy it. Tried to sell it. The ref didn't buy it. A terrific call by this crew. And we remain 3-1.
And that was big. But again, it was just a nice play initially. And that's all that player could really do was try to kick it in. He had no option.
The drive kicked off a skate. Alberigo, who was a part of the second Bishop Hendricken goal, and perhaps some desperation now from Mount St. Charles. The Mounties were all over Hendricken really in the first 4 or 5 minutes. They got a couple good saves, did the Hawks, from Matt Keneally. The turn, back to the slot, the backhander, never made it in off the stick of Holmes.
Yeah, see, Hendricken's just a little bit too physical. When the Mounties get in tight like that, they get their body on it. Slicing here. They use their physical size to outmuscle the smaller Hendricken forwards.
Ken, you know that these teams have been successful for a reason, and you know, my guess is Bishop Hendricken over the course of this season has played well by continuing to just push. I don't expect them to sit back on a 3-1 lead, not with this amount of time left.
No, considering the fact that really this whole period up until that goal belonged to Mount St. Charles.
Here comes Brandon Mitchell up the wing. Squazzaro back for the Mount. Set back in. Covered by Fanuff. Off to the wing, Squazzaro. Pushes it ahead.
Nice pass.
Glide on the wing. Gets around the defender. Nice play. The shot. Keneally the save. Man down in front.
Penalty.
And a penalty coming against Bishop Hendricken. I think Shalvey with a hold. Yep. Bovair was crashing the slot. And a power play coming for the Mounties with just about 8 minutes left here, period 3.
Interference. Again, you know, I can say Mount St. Charles is crashing the net. They're doing all the right things. You know, a little mistake there, but you watch what happens. He just kind of ties them right up and he slops them right down.
To the point. Squazzaro, the shot. Scored! It took just 3 seconds, and Squazzaro floats one in. I think it redirected, and the Mounties are within 1.
Wow, that's big. That was big. You know, they worked so hard for 8 minutes only to give up a goal, and right off the power play, that was quick. Again, it all gets generated by those defenders. Mount St. Charles is energized. Let's see what happens here. That was a deflection. There's no doubt about it. Changed directions on Keneally. Went from about pad high to shoulder high in a hurry.
And it all starts, Ken, on the dot. A big face-off win. When you're on the power play, that's a big face-off win.
Face-offs are just so important.
The Mounties are within 1. If there were any doubt of what we were going to see, there's no doubt now as Keneally covers up. 3-2, Hendricken leading. And we'll get another look. Oh, if it were redirected.
Yeah, it was definitely redirected. I'm not sure who it might have gone off a Hendricken player. I'm not really sure.
The way Crudell's reacting there, I don't think it was him. The drive from the point, Squazzaro, the shot saved by Keneally as we return to live action. Boy, that was a big rip there by Squazzaro. Again, from the point, trying to generate the offense through these off-used point men. Creamer takes a shot. Lawrence off his line.
Penalty, no call, no call.
They did not call it. Working through, Farah takes the shot, tough angle. Lawrence seemed to have it covered.
Got to be careful here now, backside guy.
Yeah, that backside guy was Mitchell. And it's out of the zone. Can't do the Mounties much trouble from there. Squazzero out ahead. He has a good look on the wing. Nebraska. The drop, the shot off the blocker, Keneally. And turned back by the Hawks. Tried to get a wraparound. Did Daniel Allen. Loose puck. Covered back. Beauvais. And sent in by Claude. Played by Keneally. Mounties buzzing as Keneally leads it out. Shalvey on the right side. Out to the point. Casilli plays it along the dashers. It comes to Allen in the corner. Looking in front. Had Beauvais. The shot snapped. Loose in front. Keneally ties it up.
Mount St. Charles is having their opportunities. I'll tell you what. Opportunity after another. One after another.
Opportunity knocks. Crunch time from me. And it's 3-2 Hendricken. And we're back after this. Mounting a comeback, perhaps. The Mounties trailed by 2. It's 3-2 Hawks. And we're inside 6.5 to play alongside
Offside.
Kenny Howell, the longtime coach of the West Warwick Wizards. I'm Mike Rubin. And Ken, you're dialed into this game. You're about ready to get behind that bench yourself and get a clipboard out.
Well, it's just a really exciting game. I like the energy that Mount St. Charles came in. And, they worked so hard only to give up that goal. But they kept their energy up, and I give them credit for that.
Well, I'll tell you, David Belial has got a shot of adrenaline himself behind that bench, watching him.
He's coaching.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Offsides are the Mounties. It's the delayed offsides, they'll call it, so we'll have another whistle.
I think whatever the strategy was in that locker room, I think first and foremost for Dave Belial and Mounties was get back to Mount St. Charles hockey. Aggressive forecheck. Be aggressive. Oh, boy.
Near side wing, the shot off the blocker of Lawrence. It's a good rip there by Liam Watkinson. I don't know that Mount St. Charles will be able to sustain enough pressure to come back from another 2-goal deficit. And so these next few minutes, crucial for both sides. No doubt. I mean, we're entering the last few minutes of what could be the series. Squazzero up the near side, hops over the stick of Nebraska, and it will be icing, in fact, as you said.
Yeah, one thing that Squazzero and Phantom do a lot of, they do a lot of this little kind of a flippy pass rather than a good firm pass. And those are tough for the guy to control. Sometimes they're on the ice, at least you can prevent the icing by just deflecting the puck. That pass up in the air is tough to deflect. Big face-off here.
Farah on the draw for the Hawks. Got a shot off through traffic. Casilli. And now Daniel Allen. Allen playing the wing, sends the puck in. Beauvais and Allen now chasing it himself. Shalvey back for the Hawks. He'll turn and will work to the left side. Stood up by Beauvais. Farah over the stick of the defender Trindad. A 2-on-1 break. Farah in. Got Lawrence to drop. A good job by Trindad to pick his pocket, however. Beauvais couldn't clear the zone. The drive by Shalvey. Glove save Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence, that actually is a good save right there. He needed a line change. He got the whistle.
5:13 remaining in the third. Lawrence watching the change as out once again come Phaneuf and Squazzero, and that top line of Crudell, Holmes, and Nebraska for the Mounties. They're matched up against this Miller, Fuller, and Mitchell line for the Hawks. Line that played very well a night ago and has certainly got the moxie. Here comes Nebraska. Off to the wing. Snapped in over the head of Keneally. Loose puck has that lively bounce we talked about.
Wow.
Puck knocked down by Phaneuf, and we will get a whistle. The stick was over hip high from Phaneuf. It's the right call.
Bring the face-off all the way down at the Mount St. Charles end.
Correct.
Well, we got 4:48 left. We got plenty of time here for Mount St. Charles to be aggressive. Face-offs are important.
Phaneuf. And now Squazzero watches it to the wing, and Holmes for Mount St. Charles. Comes to the near side. Crudell over-skated it. He went off.
Be careful.
Yeah, he had a stick high. He wasn't in control. Lost the handle. Holmes. Snap it across for Crudell, who just picked up his stick. Good ice sense by Dabrowska.
Yeah, that's a trick play. You leave your stick in the zone.
Snap back in by Cradell. He's offsides, was heading off for the offsides anyways, but because he was making no effort, that face-off should come all the way down.
And it will.
Yeah, that's the right call.
Yeah.
He knew he was off. And we're down to 4 minutes, 20 seconds left here in the third.
Mount St. Charles has too many people on the ice, so they got to make a quick little substitution. They're all set now. Another key face-off.
Tedford and Olsen. The go-ahead goal scored by Kramer. Fair the assist. Pushed ahead by Valentine. Good to see him back on the ice. He left a little shaken up earlier in the period. Played ahead for Bédot. And off the far side boards. It'll be skated out by Finelli. Now it's skated out.
Oh.
And played through skates.
No icing.
Nope. Casilli back. And covered by Tedford. Nice to clear the zone and hop on Shalvey. Bédot and Shalvey in a race for the puck. Shalvey ridden back, put down by Bédot. And back up ice comes Watkinson and the Hawks. He'll dump it in off hit the referee. And the Hawks back on the puck with Dumont.
Almost got caught with too many men on the ice, did Hendricken there. Puck was on the same side as the change.
Well, the puck would have been in deep and they would have had no problem with the change. Except to hit the stripes. Working in comes Armstrong, centering pass. The shot by Farah blocked to the point. Alberigo will set it around. And we talked about crunch time at the 7-minute mark. Well, now we're ticking down to about 3. And here comes Dabrowska, backs it in, tries to get around Bryce Dolan to the corner with Dabrowska. Coming up with the puck, Holmes to the left point. Room for Casilli. The shot, the score! Casilli from the left point! And the Mounties have tied the game at 3.
Wow. Again, just a routine shot. Nothing fancy, but the quickness of the shot. Got it off. Real nice goal right there. Again, made possible by a good Mount St. Charles forecheck. The forecheck is the key. Now Hendricken has to regroup because the psychological advantage is definitely with Mount St. Charles.
Under 3 minutes left in the third, and trips are wild. 3-3 in the third with just under 3. So Tim Casilli, the freshman, picks up his mates in a big way. Dabrowska with an assist. Dabrowska, a 2-point night.
Now you've got to make sure that all your changes are crisp. They're short. Both teams have to be smart, and they've got to get it out of their zone. Cannot make a mistake coming out of your zone. Offside.
Yep, not able to reset was Brandon Mitchell, and check that, a 3-point night for Dabrowska, a goal and a couple of assists, and you can say a lot about, I use the term intestinal fortitude, but this third period has been nothing short of just guts.
Well, you knew that Mount St. Charles wasn't going to quit. There's no quit in Mount St. Charles. And you knew that Hendricken was going to play tough too, but I think Mount St. Charles came out and set the tone in the first 2 or 3 minutes of that third period, and Hendricken never really recovered. Even though they got that goal, Mount St. Charles has definitely had the advantage.
The minutes after goals for Mount St. Charles have been difficult, let's say. Here comes Dabrowska. Has a man on his left side. The drive by Holmes is up and over the top to the near side. It's turned over. Dabrowska to the point. Was looking, but Phaneuf had cycled out of the zone, and the Mounties must reset as Dolan is back for the Hawks. We're inside 2 to play here in the third, all tied up. Holmes on the wing, loses the handle. It kicks out to the point. Phaneuf, the big drive, and Keneally forced to make a save. Seen a lot of little wristy dump-ins by the defense of Mount St. Charles. Not that time.
No, they don't.
Phaneuf, oof.
There's that forecheck, though, right here. First player on is Mount St. Charles.
Beauvais across, misses Allen, and delayed offsides. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you heard me say, oof, it's because Phaneuf was hit into that stanchion where the gate
I saw
was.
That.
He was able to brace himself, but anytime you see anybody in that general vicinity, my stomach drops.
118. Very, very important face-off right here. Mount St. Charles.
Very, very late change allowed by for Mount St. Charles. Hendricken got a guy too, so.
Well, they're the home team, so I think they're going to let him do that one.
Well, and that's what I think David Belial saying, that Dumond was allowed on late. And there's Watkinson again. He's a chippy guy. Lifted the stick of Crudell. 1:15 left, and I think they're trying to sort out.
Yeah, they're going to put him off. They're going to tell he's off.
Yeah,
really?
now
No.
Coach Kramer's saying get back out there, so.
Okay.
They're resetting the clock, I think, to by a couple of seconds now, at least the official clock. Face-off's going to be the left of Lawrence.
Yeah, he's off. He cannot be on the ice. 24 cannot be on the ice.
Yeah, they're sending him.
They're going to come back out.
Coach Kramer wants an explanation, but he was on.
Yeah.
He was on late, and oh boy, he's going to keep him out there until he gets an explanation. I think sometimes coaches will do that.
I think it's placed into Mount St. Charles' hand, because if anybody's tied at this point, it is Mount St. Charles. So these extra few seconds of not expending that energy, I think is very important.
Especially considering, look who's out there. They're regular 5, that's for sure.
Big face-off.
Came toward Lawrence, covered by Phaneuf, and it clears out. Dolan for the Hawks, sets it back in. Phaneuf up the wing, near side, set in by Dabrowska. Dolan, nice play to, or rather Alberigo, a nice play to intercept. Near side, Watkinson turns it back.
Got him.
They play it ahead.
2-on-1.
Numbers, a 2-on-1. Holmes in the slot, turns it back, is pushed off by Alberigo. Crudell on the puck, tried to play it off a defender, and it's going to be cleared out to the point. Covered by Squazzaro, and here comes Numbers for Hendricken.
Offside.
Farah
nice
kicks
play.
it away, and it's cleared out by Dabrowska. As, boy, what a hit stepped into him, did Armstrong. Farah, the drive, the save,
nice save
by Lawrence. 30 seconds left in the third. Here comes Phaneuf. Leads the attack and has it poked away.
About to
Look
just
at
dump
that.
it in here.
Yeah, he was 1-on-5 at that point.
Right.
Set around the boards. Crudell turns it on the wing for Dabrowska.
Watch out here.
Dabrowska, left point. Squazzaro plays it along the boards. Behind the goal it comes. Crudell, tough angle shot. And it is just tied up against the skate of Matt Keneally.
Keneally doesn't hold that post with his foot. That's in. That's a smart play by the Mounties. You know what's funny? That shot that they took from the point was almost like they were trying to play that rebound coming off that back glass.
7 seconds.
Big face-off.
Another one. Dabrowska. You know they're looking to the point.
He's shooting ready. He's going with a shot.
It's one back by the Hawks. And Dumond, we're going to overtime.
Wow. That was a great third period by both teams. I got to tell you what, Mount St. Charles showed heart. They showed determination. And they really, 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 right from the get-go in that period, took it to the Hendricken Hawks. And Hendricken is reeling, no doubt about it.
So we will take a quick timeout. 3-3. It's going to take extra time, folks. We'll be back after this. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. 3-3 the score. 4-on-4 we will play for 7.5 minutes. As we head to overtime, let's take a look at what got us here.
Yeah, just a high rising shot. Might have been deflected. I don't think so, though. And again, I think what happens is you'll see there's a little bit of a screen in front, and it just kind of really alluded to it. It's a nothing shot. See, his own Hendricken defender right there.
Yep, Alberigo.
There was a stick right there.
It might have been a Hendricken stick that touched it.
It might have been a Hendricken stick that changed that direction of that.
Well, that was the equalizer. That came at 12:09. The third period scoring. Creamer from Farah at 5:21 for Hendricken. Then Squazzaro and Casilli, a couple of goals from the point. We will play 7.5 minutes, 4-on-4 hockey. Should no one score, we'll play a second 7.5-minute sudden death. Should no one score in that, we'll be going to my least favorite thing in sports, the shootout.
Especially at the high school level.
So here we go. Squazzaro, they will keep the teams on the same sides, which means the Mounties left to right. Farah on the wing. Phaneuf, Squazzaro, Crudell, and Holmes. Loose puck in front. Farah looked to pull the trigger and couldn't.
This is all about cycling, churning, moving, using those points if the opportunity presents itself.
Shot and a glove save. It was sailing wide, but Lawrence saying, you know what, I'm not going to let something like that beat us here. And we remain tied at 3. And again, if Hendricken wins, it's over. If Mount wins, we come back and do it all over again.
Again, every face-off is magnified 100 times. Going for the shot here on the face-off.
Turn back, that's Casilli, whose goal gave the Mounties a chance.
You've got to get the puck out of the zone here. This is so important to get the puck out of the zone. Armstrong
looking to turn, got Lawrence to drop. It's chased by Casilli. Tries to out-muscle Casilli, who's on the puck. And it's turned to the corner. Creamer back for Armstrong. Turn near side. It'll be set back. Dabrowska looks to clear the zone. Does so. It's tripped up. Boy, I'll tell you, you see a penalty in this. 4-on-3 is a lot of open ice. We were remarking how in the old days they used to play this 3-on-3 at times. Centering pass turned over behind Bédot and sent back in by the Hawks, who will do another quick change.
Mount needs a change here.
Dabrowska looks very much out of gas. They play it ahead for Phaneuf. Phaneuf for Bédot. That will allow the changes. Bédot gets up high on Alberigo. Out comes Holmes for the Mounties. Alberigo near side. That's Holmes on the forecheck up high. Far side Dolan for Hendricken. And that puck hits off the glass. Farah right side. Tries to get around Squazzaro. Works down in front. The puck clears across the crease. Looked like it might have hit off of a Mountie skate in a tough spot.
Watch out here.
Riley Miller in the corner. It's Farah looming from the slot. Alberigo the drive. The stick save by Lawrence. Pinned to the boards by Crudell, but coming away with it is Miller. Tries to work around Squazzaro. Turn, shot, Lawrence save, tough angle, rebound. Crudell cannot clear the zone. Alberigo keeps it in.
Got to get it out of the zone.
Mounties seem seem to be struggling with this 4-on-4 set, Ken.
Yep.
Cleared down, should be icing. It just makes it. But 2.5 minutes into the first overtime, and the Mounties are not the same Mount we saw in the better part of the third, let's say.
Well, they're not aggressive enough getting the puck out of the zone. They're trying to finesse it out. They really need to bang it out. They can't be afraid of an icing in this situation. You cannot be afraid of an icing. You got to know that you have a confidence to win your face-offs.
It's a very good first 4 forwards for Jim Creamer's Hawks. And Armstrong out muscles, a great face-off win. Dumond, Dabrowska just couldn't get through. Trying to pull the trigger was Armstrong. And Dabrowska comes up with the puck from Mount St. Charles. Comes to the wing. Nice play by Shalvey. Dabrowska lost an edge.
Watch out here.
See Creamer looming at center ice. Dabrowska tried to feed it through Dumond. Sent in by Casilli, and I think, Dabrowska was just on the wrong side of the blue line.
What's going to decide this is going to be a crazy bounce, a breakaway type situation by either team. Something that's going to be, it'll be pretty when it ends, but it may not be pretty when it starts. Squazzaro and Phaneuf have played a lot of hockey here tonight.
Turn there by the Hawks was deflected. I think it was a little wrist shot there by Dolan. It was blocked. Out to Alberigo, neutral ice. Tries to set it back in. Lawrence.
Get back in that net.
You don't want to take too much time. Plays it Squazzaro. Up ahead for Daniel Allen. He's put under
Yeah,
by
you can't have that happen.
neutral. The pass to the slot, blocked, still bouncing around, trying to fight through is Josh Olson, and coming away with it finally is Patrick Holmes, and he'll skate for Mount St. Charles. Here come the Mounties, spin up the trailer. Holmes near side, the drop, the shot, the save by Keneally.
Oh, that's just what a pretty play, huh? That's just a pretty play. Yeah, Mr. Holmes really impresses me. He's a very, very heady hockey player. Mount uses that drop pass as good as anybody. Panic would like to have that one back. I think if he had kept that shot on the ice, he would have been better served. Big face-off again, going for the shot.
To the point. Crudell, Dabrowska, Casilli, and Squazzaro loose in front. The puck still sitting there, and the Mounties just unable to pull the trigger. Here comes Farah. Numbers for the Hawks if they hurry. Good transition, Farah. Good play there by Casilli. Farah, though, comes up with the puck. Tries to wrap around. Shot! What a save by Lawrence!
Wow!
What a save! He was looking behind him for a split second, but that is a terrific stop.
Oh, wow. Talk about selling out. That was unbelievable. That's as good as it gets right there, folks. High school hockey at its best.
That's a great turn by Farah. Watch him come for the wraparound, Ken. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. He challenged the shooter. That was a great play.
Farah couldn't believe it. You saw the look of, wow. I mean, even he was practically tipping his hat. The drive saved. It was Creamer's quick wrists that almost got through that time. The Hawks Armstrong looks to the turn for Alberigo. The shot, it hit a body and deflected into the netting. I think Phaneuf got a piece of it.
Let me tell you what. There was one play earlier where Squazzaro was coming back. It was a 3-on-2, and he was screaming at the back-checking Mountie to kick up the other man. Screaming at him. He wanted to make that 3-on-2 a 3-on-3. We got 3 minutes and 17 seconds here. Another key face-off.
To the point, Alberigo stepped up. Didn't allow, denied Dabrowska. Turned. Riley Miller will get called for the stick up, and the play will come all the way down to the left of Hendricken netminder Matt Keneally.
Yeah, you can see now that the two defensemen from Mount St. Charles are spent. They're making some, questionable passes. They're trying to get it out of the zone the best they can, but they're both spent. Tell you what, they've played so much hockey. But when you're the leader of your team, this is what it's all about.
Dabrowska and now Alberigo, as Farah was able to win that face-off. Plays it over Dolan. Tries to lead Farah out of neutral ice. He has Riley Miller with him. Miller on the right. Farah keeps it himself. Shot blocked. Phaneuf had gotten in the way of it. Left point, Alberigo. Thought the drive. Gets it to Dolan. The puck hopped up on Dolan, and he sets it in deep. The play by Farah. Lawrence was looking around, and it's covered by Holmes. And now Dabrowska. Holmes out left side. Dolan in front of the bench.
He's behind him.
Through was Holmes, and he needs to get off. He was at the end of his shift.
Yeah, you got to make these quick changes, especially if you're Mount St. Charles. It's 15, 20 seconds. That's it.
Inside 2.5 left. Again, we're skating 4-on-4. Second out was Squazzaro, and went to dump it in. Found the back of the Hendricken bench, a stoppage with a full house, folks. 222 or 221 and 3-3 the score. That's what it comes down to there. You see Mount Pride, both of these squads. No shortage of that on the ice.
Definitely. Just what the outcome is of this game. This is the high school hockey at its best.
Gotten everything you've asked for as Shalvey shot off the glove of Lawrence. Shalvey has a goal in this one. Turns on the wing, shot blocked, out to the point. Dumont thought about the turn, now gets to Armstrong left side. Fake the drive and broke it up. Here comes Crudell. Gets around one defender, but Shalvey back, as is Armstrong. Crudell has those great hands and the ability to turn.
Offside.
They didn't call it. They let him play. Crudell fights through, and a nice bit of a poke check there by Dumont. Tries to get around Holmes. He played it right to Squazzaro. Nice play by Holmes, a terrific hit.
He's going to take the shot.
Squazzaro tried to catch Keneally napping. Fortunately, he was awake. Turned over. Bédot, the drive, just wide. Kicked in front. Through the wickets, closed down. Boy, Bédot wound up and drove that one hard, and with an eye on the top shelf, it just sailed wide. Keneally, the safe answer in the end with inside a minute and a half now to play.
Wow. This is awesome.
Well, winner or loser in this game, we are going to get our, so we have got a treat, that's for sure. Casilli, shoulder to shoulder with Miller. Tries to get it to the backhand, out to the point. The drive, knocked down in front. Here's Farah, the turn, the shot. Lawrence, the save. Puck loose and kick wide. Miller and Casilli on the back. Now here comes Bédot. His shot just went wide. A nice play by Farah. Little B-button turbo coming back. Turns it back. Near side is tripped up by Bédot. Phaneuf puts a knee into him. And Farah falling on the puck. I'll tell you, we saw Farah take a terrific hit last night. Got up. We thought it was a shoulder. They might have just popped it back in. He is one tough kid.
No, he's a good player, no doubt about it. That was a great individual effort. And it's just, it's a matter of will now. It's will. It's all about, who wants it. Someone's going to make a great play.
Near side boards. It's set in by Nebraska.
Watch in front.
Cameron Tedford pinned by Dumond. Dumond, Nebraska.
You'll take a face-off down there anytime. If you're Mount, you'll take the face-off.
Nice play by Dumond. Tries to lead it out. Phaneuf the drive. Wide, lively bounce. Taken back. Tedford in front. Phaneuf the shot.
Oh!
Score! Top shelf!
Oh!
And we've got ourselves game 3. We are going to game 3 as Phaneuf, top shelf, where Mama keeps the cookies. And the cheat from the point. It's 4-3 Mount.
Wow.
What a comeback.
What a great play. You can see that almost setting itself up. Phaneuf just came out of nowhere. That was just great play.
Well, that is justice served for a guy who played so many minutes to be held off the score sheet.
Watch
Let's get a look.
Play. Here he comes. He's just sneaking down inside. No one's got him.
Yeah, you know what? It's a missed assignment by Armstrong. He never saw him. Never saw him. A great setup. Phaneuf, the game winner with 31 seconds left in overtime. And you and I are going to get a game 3.
Just a great, let me tell you what, that's one of the, I've been doing this for a long time. That was one of the finest hockey games I've seen anybody play at any time, on any rink in high school hockey. Just a great exhibition of hockey by both teams. Just awesome. Just when you thought the Mount St. Charles was out of it, they're right back in. It's done.
Phaneuf, the game winner in overtime. What a finish. And like we said, you can be tired tomorrow. They'll get a day off to rest those legs. And Bishop, Hendricken, and Mount will do this again. You see the two coaches at center ice, arm in arm, the mutual respect, I'm sure, between these two programs. And this has become an instant classic of a series, Ken. We got bonus hockey. I mean, that's what they call when you go bonus to overtime.
Yeah.
And what a bonus it has been.
It was a great 31 seconds left on the clock, 31.1 in the fourth period of play. Just a great opportunity for Mount St. Charles to take it to game 3.
So we will be back here for a game 3 at Meehan Auditorium. Mount takes this one from Hendricken 4-3. They were down 3-1 with half of the third period gone. And the Mountie Magic found a way to come back. So we'll see you with a game 3, a St. Patrick's Day special. For Ken Howell and all of our Cox Sports crew, I'm Mike Rubin saying so long. That finish by Keith Phaneuf sends us to game 3. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So long from me at Auditorium.